You are listening to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast with your host, Aaron Zamzow.
Hey, FRF Nation, Aaron Zamzow here with the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast. It's been about a month between episodes here. We are in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. I apologize for not posting, but today I'm excited to just talk a little bit about mindset and being positive through this entire experience and how you can keep your fitness on track, how you can stay motivated. We'll give you a little insight into my mind. Good luck with that. But I think you will understand a little bit about, we're all in this together. We all have a lot of stuff that goes on in our heads, especially as first responders. But I think when it comes to fitness, it's just as much a mind game as it is a physical game, as it is a planning your nutrition. I think mindset is probably one of the biggest things you need to make sure you have right, especially when you're trying to stay consistent, especially when you're trying to make progress, especially when you're dealing with a pandemic. So let's dive into it a little bit. Again, this is some insight into me and my own mind and some experiences I had with coaching pro athletes and coaching fire rescue athletes over the last 25 years. And I think mindset, again, is one of the biggest things. And right now, with in the middle of this pandemic, one of the things that throws us all off is that our normal is now changed. And you can't go Google how to work out during a pandemic. Well, you probably can now because it's out there. But, it was new to everybody. Gyms all of a sudden were closed. Firehouses, were and still are in the middle of regulating who can come and go, and your fitness routine and your daily routine has been uprooted. You used to make your lunch, drop the kids off, maybe go do your workout, then go to work, and your kids weren't there. Now your kids are at home. You have to make sure you feed them. And you got to do homeschooling, and you really have to plan out your trips to the store, and our normal has changed. And with that, sometimes we lose kind of track of fitness. We lose track of our own health, I think, because we put others first. We put our kids first. We put our significant others in front of us. And I think as first responders, we got to understand that if we're not healthy, if we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't take care of the other individuals. We can't take care of those people we serve. We can't really take care of those that we love. And I think, that's the biggest thing. And working with parents, being a personal trainer, working with parents, I know that's the biggest challenge out there, is because you want to give your kids the best. But, so you're running them to this practice and that meeting and this person's house, and you're doing all these things for them. But I think in the long run, the best thing you can do for your kids is to be the best version of yourself. And let me just say that again. The best thing you can do for your kids, just like the best thing we can do for our crew members, the best thing we can do for our citizens, is to be the best version of ourselves. And I believe that really includes fitness. It includes mindset. It includes eating the right things so you can perform well, so you can react well in situations. So, the first thing that you really need to do to make sure that you have a good mindset and to make sure you stay motivated is to understand that this is not your normal, but you need to try to create a normal within it. So I went back to as I was touching on the routine that we had. Create a new routine. So if you normally get Jimmy or Bobby or Susie or Billy or Joe up at 8:00 or 7:00, and then you pack their lunch and you pack your lunch and you make sure that it's healthy, still do that. Even though your kitchen's over there now, it's really easy to kind of get out of that normalcy, and then what happens is I think we start checking the refrigerator a lot. We don't have time all of a sudden but we're home all day. And we don't have time to work out, and we don't have time to eat right. And you just start to go down this spiral, and then you look at all the other things that are going on, and it's really, really easy to get in this negative tunnel, into this negative spiral. So the first thing is to recreate your normal and make sure that is a healthy normal. Make sure that, okay, I normally work out at 3:00. Now that I'm at home, I'm still going to do that. I'm going to go take a little corner of the house. I'm going to follow the Get FRF in 40-day at home program. And by the way, a little side bar here. FRF, we've created a free at-home workout program. It's 40 days. It also includes access to our app. It includes access to our closed private page where we now are up over a couple thousand firefighters, EMTs, medics, first responders. We have over 4,000 people following this program. It's free. I'll leave the link in the description, but please take advantage of this because this can help you establish your norm. It'll help you with your workouts. We have options that if you have some dumbbells at home, great, you can use them. If you don't have anything, I actually teach you how to create a suspension training system with some stuff laying around the house. And the feedback so far has been great. And one of the best emails I got was someone just said, I don't see that I've gotten, any stronger. This person was in the first week and they said, but I just feel like I have more control of my fitness and my health, and I have more control over my life. And I think that goes back to creating your new norm. So get your new norm, get your new normal, create that pattern of health and fitness. And that also now you're setting the example for your kids if they're at home, especially. You're setting the example for your crew. And, firehouses, our normal is a little bit different, but we can try to get, time. So you're in briefings a lot. If your calls are a little bit more, your call volume's up, still give your crew time to work out and set that example. So first thing you need to do is create the new normal and make sure it's healthy, right? And then the second thing is to stay positive within that new normal. It's really, really easy right now to look at all the different social media outlets, turn on the news and find how many deaths we had, how many people infected, how many things are closed. And I think you have a choice. You can look and focus on them and you can talk about them with everybody else around you, or you could focus on the positive stories. I saw a story of a neighborhood in New York City. They just started singing some Beatles songs out their windows. Focus on that. Focus on how people are helping their neighbors. Focus on people that beat the virus. Focus on how positive some of the numbers can be when you look at how it started and where we thought we would be. Focus on making fitness progress. Focus on making your kids work out with you. Focus on being able to spend more time with your kids. Focus on lack of distractions going on. There's no sports. There's no events that you have to go. So I really believe that you have to change what you focus on and what you surround yourself with. And I have this conversation with my girlfriend. I have my conversation with the crew, my family. And I start to get that same thing. I'll go online and I'll start reading. I'm like, oh, well, those numbers are off, or that doesn't make sense. And this person says this. And I take a deep breath, say, all right, I'm done. I'm off of social media. I'm going to go do something that's positive. I'm going to go look for something that's positive. So within your new normal, make sure that it's healthy. And one of the things to ensure that it's healthy is to stay positive within it. And sometimes you got to dig for it. But I think staying positive is just a matter of doing it. In the Forrest Gump approach, you start thinking about positive things, you start feeling a lot better about yourself. There's actually science behind it. So second thing you need to do is focus on positives. If you find yourself going down that negative tunnel, and this happens at the firehouse a lot. I'll tell you, like, we sit at that kitchen table and we solve all the world's problems. And I'm sure a lot of firefighters right now just chuckled and said, yeah. And you can be negative about how the department's being run. You can be negative about a lot of different things. But when everything's said and done, I try not to be a part of those conversations. I try to say, you know what, our chiefs are doing a pretty good job. This is something that's never been dealt with, and they're working hard to do what's best for us. Or did you see this great article, this great story about, neighborhoods singing together or people helping neighbors? So I think you can do that. You just don't get stuck in that negative tunnel. And I like to call a kitchen table a tunnel sometimes, because before you know it, you complain for half an hour and you don't feel any better about yourself. So stay positive, everybody. That's number 2. Number 3, right? You have a new norm. It's a healthy norm. You're staying positive. The next thing you need to remember is that you are your biggest competition. when it comes to fitness, especially, you may look at so-and-so's doing a 5K, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so lost 20 pounds, so-and-so could do this many pull-ups. And it's so easy to get into this, oh, I can't do that, or I don't want to do that. Boy, when I run, I can't even get close to that. And I think it's really, really important for you to just focus on what your own personal goal is, what you want to accomplish, what progress you are personally making. Because it kind of goes back to the staying positive. If you start looking at what everyone else has got, what everyone else is doing, that changes your mindset. You start to get into this negative, like, well, I can't do 20 push-ups, or I can't do 20 pull-ups, and right away, you see what I said? I said I can't. And instead of focusing on, hey, I worked out 3 times this week. It's 3 times more than I worked out last week. I'm feeling better. I'm moving better, right? My pants are fitting a little bit better. No, I'm not a 28 waist. I'm a 32 or a 33, but I'm making progress. So when you think about your fitness, it's your fitness. It's your progress. It's not anyone else's. And that's the same thing with your goal. Make sure that you're working out to accomplish what's important to you. And I think sometimes that's what happens with workouts. Everyone starts to do everyone else's work. What are you doing? Well, I'm doing chest and try. And, I if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, I go, well, why? Why are you doing chest or try if that's not your goal? Sometimes, well, it's something to do. I get it. But, my point here being, you are your biggest competition. You are your biggest limit, I believe, too. We get into our own mindset. We start making excuses. I don't have time. Oh, I can't get to the store. Oh, they don't have, eggs. You could come up with every excuse imaginable now. But it comes down to, making sure that you're in your own mind. You understand you are the one that's responsible for that mindset and changing it up. So first thing, you create your normal. Second thing, you stay positive. Third thing is make sure that you understand that you are your biggest competition. Don't necessarily start competing with everyone else. Compete with yourself. Compete about making progress every day, and then focusing on that progress, be it little as it might be. Again, when I first started working with clients, I'm not going to tell you when, but it's way back in the 90s. I would always say, look, the first thing we're going to do is try to get you in the gym 3 times this week. I don't care about weight loss. I don't care about anything other than that. The thing is, you want to make sure that this is a part of your life. So same thing with fitness. Focus first on just getting it in, and then start to focus on what you're doing and how you're feeling. And before you know it, things start to snowball. And this podcast actually stemmed from a story. I worked on a Friday, and we had a couple calls at night where our sleep was disrupted, of course, which is very common. And I wasn't feeling very strong, wasn't feeling very energetic, but I had on my agenda for Saturday, got off shift at 7 a.m, came home, ate breakfast, did some things, around the house. And then I was doing my workout, and the workout itself went really well. I was a little tired, but made it through. And then my afterburner was to go run this hill that's outside my house. It was a beautiful day. And I was going to do 5 hills. And on the 3rd hill, I was gassed, and I was, really tired. And I just all of a sudden got into my mind saying, man, this sucks. This whole workout sucks. I'm gassed. I should be able to do this. I've been running regularly. I should be able to get up this hill. Oh my gosh, how can I not be doing this? This is number 3. I got 2 more to go. And I got to the hill, and I just stopped for a second, and I just kind of, I wanted to smack myself in the head, but I just thought, right there is insight into what goes into all of our heads. We start to get into this, oh my God, I'm running this hill. Which is a real positive thing. I'm able to do that. And I wasn't doing it up to my own standards. And then that starts this negative slide. So, that's what spurred this actual podcast. I created a post on FRF for it. I'll leave the link within the description. And, I did a live feed on it, and I got some great feedback. A lot of people said, you know what, I feel the same way. So, I hope you can relate to this story. So I walked down the hill, and I finished the other 2. It wasn't very fast, but I finished. And then I did a little jog home, and I thought, you know what a great day. I got a good workout in. It wasn't my best, but I got it in, and it really, really kind of spurred all these other things. So I'm hoping that you can, relate to that. and learn from that. And that kind of goes into, you are your biggest competition. And number 4, which leads into my 4th point, is that you every once in a while need to do a mindset mental check. Meaning, if you get to that top of the hill, don't think about how long it took you to get to that hill. Think about the fact that you got to that hill and that you're able to accomplish that part of it. Now, there's a time then too where you evaluate and try to motivate yourself, but you don't want to do it to a point where it's negative. And there's a fine line there. Stood at the top and said, can I do better? Yeah, but gosh darn it, I'm happy to be here. And I'm going to get back down and I'm going to try it again. And, next week, Saturday, or whenever my run day is on that hill again, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to stay positive and focus on creating more progress for myself. So in review, folks, first thing you need to do is recreate your normal, stay positive within that normal, understand that you are your biggest competition. You are your own limit. Set goals that are for you. Do things for yourself, because that'll help you not only help others, but it'll keep you motivated because it comes from within, not from, someone else posting on Instagram that they can do 100 push-ups. So you make sure that you understand you are your biggest competition, and then do a mental check every once in a while. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you staying healthy? I think part of that mental checklist is, make sure that you stay consistent. Make sure that you have positive things around you. If I use the example for nutrition. If you're eating poorly and you're at home all day, don't buy the foods that distract you from eating well. And I know, hey, we have kids, but again, helping yourself is really helping others in this case. So, reestablish a good mindset. Make sure you take some time every once in a while to check and see how you're doing. How can you grow a little bit more? How can you stay positive? And, how can you continually just make progress? So there you go, folks. Those are some good points. I hope you got a little bit out of it. Again, we're all in this together. I write about fitness. I've been training people for 25 years, and I think I've used every excuse imaginable. And I'm in my own head probably more than others because, when I used to train in a gym before I got entered into the fire service now 16 some years ago, when I trained in a gym, I would always compare myself to other trainers. That trainer's got, that trainer's really fit, or that trainer can do this. And so I went through a lot of this stuff, and I realized that I need to stay within my own capabilities, within my own head, and continually make progress. Because I think if you start looking outside, you beat yourself up to a point where you don't make any progress whatsoever, and you really kind of inhibit, positivity, and you inhibit your own progress. So with that, folks, I hope you got some information from this. I hope you got motivated. Check the links if you have not and are not doing the Get FRF in 40. It's an at-home program. It's free. Please take advantage of that. Send me any messages you have if you think I'm onto something or on something. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what other topics you want me to cover. Most importantly, everybody, stay safe, stay positive, stay FRF.
Thank you for listening to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast with your host, Aaron Zamzow. Please tune in again soon for more fitness tips for fire rescue athletes.